So in your garden kits, everybody had some sunflower material. Because we are starting garden a little bit later, we are not necessarily going to get around to using all of these worksheets. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-record this lesson in that the older kids can go ahead and do their Fibonacci sequence with the sunflowers. I believe you might also have sunflower life cycle in there. And younger kids have sunflower spelling and the seed journal. Second graders are using their seed journal with their garden class, so most of them have already started this. But for K1, if you want to go ahead and do the seed journal, you can do that as well. With the sunflower unit, you did have some materials that came in your garden kit. You had 2 dirt discs and then a pack of sunflower seeds as well. So these are what you're going to need for the sunflower unit. If you've already used them with your seed journal, that's great. If you do not have these, you can always substitute going outside and finding some dirt. Just make sure you tell whoever's garden you're digging in that you'd like to borrow 2 spoonfuls of dirt. These are the sunflower seeds that came with the kit. As you can see, I included different sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds definitely aren't all the same. There are some that are bright yellow, what we think of, kind of like this one. But there's also some that come in reds and oranges, small ones that have more than 1 flower on each stem. Okay, so there's all sorts of ones. So I'm going to go through it worksheet by worksheet if you watch the following lesson, and you can follow along and do whatever worksheets you have in your garden kit. All right? Okay, as I mentioned to a lot of the kids, we ran out of time. We started a little late with the garden program, so we did not have a chance to do our sunflower unit. And there are still sunflowers out and about. They're starting to wind down for sure, but I know I got this one in market. So what you have in your garden packs, you already have all the materials for the sunflower lesson. So those kids that would like to do them or they're looking for a more hands-on activity, they can go ahead and do these. There are sunflower spelling worksheets we're going to walk through. There is sunflower life cycle that the kids can do. And then there's also a seed journal. So that is with these 2 little black discs. And these black discs, I'm going to turn them around because this is the top of it. You can see the little hole here. Okay, these are basically dirt pellets, seed starter packs. And so what they do is they're going to soak them in water for about 15 minutes. And once they soak them in water, they're going to grow. This one has a seed already in it, so yours will not come like this. But you're going to soak it in water for 15 minutes. And then once it's popped up, okay, you can see how tall it is. It starts like that little disc and it becomes much bigger. Once it's popped up, you can go ahead and plant your sunflower seeds, which came in the little plastic baggie. Okay, you had a plastic baggie with some sunflower seeds in it. If you'd rather actually use these to plant something outside, I would not plant sunflowers outside just because right now it is not a good time to do that. Sunflowers are usually spring and summer. Something you could plant that would work well are kale seeds or lettuce seeds, cauliflower, anything like that. Your sunflower is probably not going to be super happy outside, but it will germinate. This one's been on my windowsill inside. So if you leave them inside, they will at least germinate, and your kids can definitely be doing their seed journals and seeing that whole experiment of having a seed germinate and taking care of something. It's nice to have a little project right now for them to do. So this series of videos is going to walk you through all the worksheets. Different grades got different worksheets. So your child might say, I don't have this. That's fine. Go ahead and flip to the video of something they had. They will have all had the discs and the sunflower seeds. Again, some are saying they didn't have them. That's totally fine. I give workarounds in the videos, but there's dirt everywhere. They just need like an old yogurt container. Okay, they can take 2 scoops of soil in this. If they don't have seeds, there are seeds everywhere right now too. I think that's almost one of the best things to do is go see if you can go for a walk and find a seed outside, right? There are seeds in berries right now. There are seeds in pine cones. Some of them are much harder to germinate than others. But again, they've got the time and you can see which ones you can get to germinate and which ones you can't, right? So it's a great experiment and great hands-on learning for them. So the following videos go through the different printables and the different seed packs. Have fun. Thanks. Okay, so we've gone over all of the printables that were in your garden kit. The things that remain are my favorite. They are the hands-on learning part of the unit. And so what we did was we included 2 seed starter pots in your garden kit as well as a bag of seeds. If you're missing these, either one, no big deal. If you don't have dirt, there's always some outside in parking strips, yards. Just make sure you ask whoever it is where you're digging, ask if you can borrow a spoonful of dirt, right? That's all you really need. And then seeds. If you don't have a bag of seeds, that's totally fine. Sometimes it's more fun to go outside and go on a nature hunt and see what you can find. This time of year, there are seeds everywhere. I'm looking out my window right now and I can see several different types of seeds. I see some dandelions, which those are seeds. I see some red berries, probably not to eat, but berries have seeds in them. Okay, I see flowers that have seeds in the middle. I can even see an old sunflower from where I'm at. So if you're out and around, just remember, don't go into somebody's yard to go get a seed, but there are seeds everywhere. And sometimes it's more fun to see if you can find one in nature and get it to grow. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your seed pod and you're going to take a small container. And now, so for me, I like to use either old yogurt containers, or I went ahead and I took mine out and used like a little small shallow bowl. And what you're going to do is you're going to add some water to it, about halfway up. So you don't need to add a ton, okay? So I'll add some water, and then all you're going to do is you're going to put your seed pod in that water. Now, you have 2 seed pods. So fun experiments to do are, you can see if put one in warm water. Maybe I put warm water in this yogurt container and I put this one in here and this is cold water, and see which seed pod gets larger fastest. Okay, lots of different things you can do that way, but you're going to let them soak for about 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, okay, your seed pod will puff up to look like this. Okay, it's going to basically look like there is a paper towel wrapped around your seed pod. That keeps all the dirt together. It's actually, a lot of these are coconut and peat moss. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep this in it, okay, but you've got your seed pod. Okay, this one actually has a seed that I planted in it last week. But you can see after about 15 minutes, it becomes much larger. All right, so you're going to just have them soak there, and over time, it's going to expand. Once your seed pod is nice and big like that, you're going to go ahead and you are going to plant your seed. Okay, I'm going to put this in that bowl just so it always has some water. But you can see, I'm going to give you an up-close look. There is a little circle right in the middle of this seed starter. And so as it expands, you're going to notice that paper towel kind of stops right in the middle where there's a hole. And that's where you're going to go ahead and plant your seed. Again, I gave you seeds. These are all sunflower seeds, but they're going to look a little different, okay, because there are different types of sunflowers. You have kind of your standard mammoth sunflower seed, like what we eat, okay, and what we've seen. You also have some smaller seeds. They're smaller, just all black seeds, okay. Different sunflowers have different colored seeds, different size seeds. You're going to pick, this is a little bit of dirt, we'll get that off there, but you're going to pick one of these seeds to plant, okay, per seed pod, right? You can tell the one that I planted here was one of the little black ones. It wasn't a big mammoth one. You can kind of get a good vision of it here. Let's see if I can focus my document camera a little bit more. Okay, and so you can see that I have given this seed, when I plant it in this little coconut bark, okay, it has the soil it needs. And so what are the 3 things that a plant needs, right? We go over this a lot in school. The 3 things that a plant needs to grow. And of course, this is a little different nowadays, but traditionally it is soil. It's going to be water, like in the bottom of our bowl here. And the 3rd thing is light, right? So is this seed going to be very happy if I stick it in a dark bookshelf or if I stick it in a closet to germinate? No, it's not going to be happy. But again, this is where it's very cool because we give you 2 of these. So maybe you plant one sunflower seed and you put it in your window. And maybe you put the other one in a dark bookcase and you see which one germinates faster, right? You can experiment with it. Maybe you put one inside on a windowsill and one outside, because right now it's not very warm and sunny for most of the day. It's starting to get cold. So maybe that's something that you want to look and see how it grows outside, right? Again, sunflower seeds, this isn't the ideal time to be planting them. So your chances that you get a big, beautiful sunflower like this one are probably pretty poor. okay? But that doesn't mean you still can't grow and see your seed sprout. So once you've gone ahead and once your pot is big, okay, you're gonna go ahead and put your finger in just like a scratch and sniff. You're gonna just gently scratch away the top little layer and put your seed in. If you really dig down deep and put your seed halfway through here, it's not gonna be super happy. It likes to be towards the top, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and add your seed, all right? And your seed is gonna look like this to begin with. The second thing that you're gonna do is you are going to get out your seed journal, which looks like this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and get it out, okay? And you're gonna keep track of how your seed does. All right, so this is my seed journal. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. And it's designed to be cut in half so it becomes like a little book, all right? So you can take your scissors out if you have them. If not, you can always just leave it like this. But I might wanna cut mine in half. So I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna cut down the dotted lines. And there's a page behind this as well. So you can cut 2 pieces of paper at once, okay? And the page behind it looks like this, okay? And so you're gonna go ahead, if you have a stapler, you can staple them together. I'm gonna move my seeds up out of the way so I can put this here. And this is my little book. So if you have a paper clip, you can paper clip it. If you wanna just keep them loose, you can do that. I have a little stapler that I'm gonna use. So I'm just gonna staple it right here. And that staple didn't work, but that's okay. That might have been my last staple, of course. So anyway, we're gonna pretend that I just stapled it right there and that worked magically. And on the front of my seed journal, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to get a pen or a pencil and I am going to write my name. Okay, my name is Miss Alden. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Miss Alden on here. Now date can be up to you. You might just want to put the year down, right? We're doing this in 2020, a year none of us are soon to forget. So we're going to put 2020 down because this is going to encompass many dates, okay? And what I love about this picture is these are all the watermelon seeds. This is a slice of watermelon, right? And fruit is one of the things that always had seeds. That's the whole point of fruit, is to make the seed look really, really yummy to people, so we eat the seeds, okay? So on the second page, and every page thereafter, it's going to look like this. So you're going to put the date. And so I'm going to say today's date is October 15th. So 10 for October and 15. And then the year is 20. Now, if you have a ruler and you want to measure the seed, you can do that. Or you can always just write it down as far as size. Maybe I'm just going to put small seed. Right? It hasn't really sprouted. There's not much to measure yet. The idea is that as your plant grows up and becomes larger, you could use a ruler to measure it with. Okay, observations. So for now, my observation is just a seed. And I will tell you, is this an exposed seed? The seed's it's very teeny. Okay, so the seed is in here. And so as I'm looking at it, that's what I'm going to draw over here. My seed looks like this, right? And so this one's kind of like a pointed oval. And then it's got some stripes on it. Okay, but that's what my seed looks like. So just a seed. Maybe it's ready to be planted. Just a seed ready to plant. So now I know my seed was planted on 10/15, and this is what it looked like. Now, through the magic of time lapse, what my seed looks like now is very different, right? My seed has sprouted. Can you see the little neck there? Okay, so it is growing, growing, growing. I put it on a windowsill and it gets some sunlight. It has some water in the bottom of the bowl that it soaks up. Okay, and you can see right here, that used to be my little seed. Okay, and it's growing into a plant now. So, my observations are going to be different. So let's say, again, this might be 2 days from now. It might be the 17th, okay? So I'm checking it on the 17th. And the size, maybe I do want to get out a ruler. And I know that this is about 1 inch tall, okay? So size might be 1 inch. Or size might be, You can always use your finger. Maybe it's 1/2 of my pinky finger, okay? Or half a pinky. You can get creative. It's totally up to you. Observations. My seed sprouted, and what do you think that is that's kind of coming up out of there? I think it's a stem. It has a stem. Okay, and so now I'm just going to draw it on here. So I'm kind of going to draw the seed pod. Kind of looks like this, right? That's my seed pod, or my pod. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that little kind of, it's making almost like a little hook here. And then the seed really is up here now. It's not in the dirt, is it? The seed's up top. If you really look at my plant, seed, you see it? It's up here. It's not in the dirt anymore where we put it. It's rising up. Okay? And so if you want, for the older kids, if you want to label it and kind of draw an arrow and put seed, so you know, okay, that's something you can totally do. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep going. As your seed grows and changes, okay, you can do the next one. And over time, you should see that your seed starts out as this teeny little thing is going to grow. And it might not grow into this huge flower like this, but it's definitely going to grow. Maybe 1 inch, maybe 2 inches, okay? Maybe one of them that you put outside doesn't grow, and that's a really cool experiment to do as well. These are yours to learn with, okay? And at the end, the hope is that you will have, right, maybe magically my stapler worked, but at the end you're going to have a little seed journal that just gives you a complete look at how a seed germinates, germinate meaning sprout, okay, and takes you through that beginning life cycle. Because as we come back to school next year, you guys are all going to be planting seeds all over the school garden. And each seed leads to a new plant, right? So think about that. Each time you plant a seed, you're hoping, and it's not always guaranteed, but you're hoping to get a new plant. Whether it's a sunflower, whether it's a lettuce, whether it's a tree, right? Trees like pine cones, those contain seeds. That's the whole point of a pine cone. Acorns are a great little seed, okay? So what you want to do is you want to be paying attention to that, and you're going to have your journal at the end that tells you this is from the start of my seed, and as it grows and keeps kind of popping up, you're going to get a little plant. All right? Good job. Thanks, guys. The sunflower worksheet that you have on spelling is just using trace letters and different words that are associated with sunflower. You can go ahead and trace over them in whatever color you want. I have a highlighter, so I'm using that. Okay, but you can make them rainbow, you can make them one color. Some of the words on here are sunflower, okay, which is what this big, beautiful flower is. You can try to remember if you saw any over in summertime. They usually grow in summer. They're not necessarily a winter flower, but at school we harvest them in September, which is why we like doing our sunflower unit. We dissect them and eat sunflower seeds. Which brings me to my second word, seeds. S-E-E-D-S. You can trace over that. And here's that lovely pile of sunflower seeds. Again, not all of them look that way, but the ones that we like to eat are like this. Another word is sun. Sunflowers follow the sun across the sky. They're heliotropic, so they move with the sun when they're little. Okay, flower is another word. Yellow. Most of them are yellow when we traditionally think of sunflowers, but not all of them. See, we did seeds. Squirrel. I put squirrel on here because these are one of the key things in our kindergarten garden up top, that when we have sunflowers, the squirrels love to come and eat all of the seeds. They're getting ready for winter, so they love to just eat them all off the middle of the sunflower hair. Leaf is another word. Sunflowers all have leaves. And then stem, right, which helps support that big, strong flower. And you can see, here's an actual sunflower that I got from market. You can see they have a nice, thick stem because they are supporting that really tall flower up there. So they get a really thick and hardy stem. This is the stem, this is the sunflower. So you can see this one's missing a few petals. Okay, but underneath here, traditionally is where the seeds are gonna go. Okay, you've got the petals here. Again, sometimes they come in reds and oranges. They're beautiful flowers. And then you have the really tall, thick stem. And that's how it grows. Okay, so go ahead and fill in all of the different words associated with sunflowers. The second worksheet some of you have is the sunflower life cycle. So sunflowers don't just magically appear, right? They start from seeds and then they grow from there. So you can do two things. You can either trace your words here, right? So sprout is one of the life cycles. This is really the second part of the life cycle. The first life cycle is seeds. We start with seeds. Okay, we can trace over our words, or if you're so inclined, you can go ahead and you can get some scissors out and you can cut on the dotted lines. Use those fine motor skills, okay? And you can cut here. Say I'm going to just cut this one off. And this one says bud. Okay, so I can trace over this. If I have some tape or some glue, I can go ahead and tape it down over the life cycle where it goes. So the bud, it's not the seed, it's not the sprout. The bud's here before it turns into a flower. It's like the baby flower. Okay, and you can go ahead and glue that down there. Flower. This is the traditional sunflower that we know, the nice yellow one. Okay, that's the main life cycle that people like to get at market. That's what you buy here if you're buying a sunflower. And then dying petals, or the dying plant, dying flower. You can see that as the middle of the plant comes off, where all the pollen was, there are seeds underneath that. And that's what we eat. And that's what the squirrels love to eat too, and different animals. They all love those sunflower seeds. Okay, so as the dying petals start falling off, it's going to reveal these very cool sunflower seeds. And then those seeds are what turn around and grow the sunflower plants the next season. The third, fourth, and fifth graders got this Fibonacci sequence sunflower worksheet. And Fibonacci sequence is a math sequence. And I know some of you are thinking, oh gosh, maybe I'm not going to do the math worksheet. But this is a very cool math worksheet because the Fibonacci sequence is almost like a detective game. And what they did is an Italian mathematician named Fibonacci, way long ago, found this pattern in nature that is the spiral. Okay, and the sunflower has it. You can kind of see it here. All right, and basically he figured out that these set of numbers exist in nature. And people have found them in all sorts of things. People find them in succulents, right? Pine cones, other flowers. I have a book called The Rabbit Problem, which is on how rabbits follow the Fibonacci sequence as they start to breed and create more rabbits. It's a very awesome thing, and it's this cool pattern. And basically, the Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers beginning with 1 and 1. Okay, so twice, 1 and 1. Each subsequent number is the sum of the previous two. So if you're looking at a Fibonacci sequence, the first two numbers are 1 and 1. And then what you do is you add that, right? So 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's the third number in the Fibonacci sequence. 1 plus 2 equals the next number, 3. Then you go back. 2 plus 3 equals 5. So that's the next number of the Fibonacci sequence. 3 plus 5 equals 8, and so on and so forth, right? And it goes all the way up. So what we've done is we've kind of filled in this Fibonacci sequence spiral down here. What I want you guys to concentrate on is filling in the spiral below with the corresponding Fibonacci numbers. I filled this one in for you. And then we're going to go through and do this one. So if this one, the very first one, starts as 1, what was the second Fibonacci number? 1, right? Okay. So now what's 1 plus 1? 2. Good. What's 1 plus 2? 3. So you're going to fill a 3 in here. Now you're going to go 2 plus 3 equals what in that square? 5. And now 3 plus 5 equals, what's this number going to be? Okay, I'll let you fill that in. And then you're going to go ahead. I gave you 5 plus this number equals 13, right? I gave you that one. And now you're going to go ahead and you're going to add this number and this number to find this big number right here. Okay? And then as you're out and about, if you're in market, if you're out exploring, going for a walk in your neighborhood, see what you can find that has these spirals, right? I'm going to see if I can focus in my little camera here. Okay? And this one has a lot of black, so it's not that easy to see. But definitely keep your eye out, because I bet you once you start seeing some of these spiral patterns in nature, you're going to be able to find them everywhere. And they are very, very cool. Okay? Again, succulents are one thing that have these Fibonacci sequence. Pine cones, there's some debate, but for the most part, you can see a spiral feature in them. Okay, keep your eyes open and always let us know if you see more things that follow that Fibonacci sequence.